You guys, ALTCOIN Bible. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you've been enjoying our content of late. I feel like we have been really hitting the nail on the head, not to blow our own trumpet, but it's always nice when things start to move the way you think it might. And you can never get everything 100% right, but it sure is nice to see after about 7.5 months of sideways compression consolidation that we're finally having that up move, and Bitcoin is telegraphing up. This is a full-blown breakout. Now, if you're following our VIP content, our mastermind content, and maybe some of our free stuff that we're putting out, we're very vocal that the weekly close was so consequential over the last couple of weeks. The monthly looks incredible, and now we're seeing the daily catch up to price action. So this move is huge. So we're now butting up against all-time highs, almost 73,000 for Bitcoin. It's about 73,300 around that mark, new all-time high. I've just got a little alert to go off there. But you can see we have now created this beautiful higher high mode. All this here was just trending up beautifully, higher highs, higher low. We're mentioning that, but the real proof in the pudding was to break that 68,000, 69,000 level and get above that and really get above these previous highs. We're forming that downtrend. So everything looks fantastic there. We're kind of just now in suspension with a few alts looking really, really nice. And the way you really position yourself is looking at the BTC pairs. So making sure that, if your longer term stuff is longer term, but if you are looking to position in the short midterm, you'd be looking at the strength against Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the market leader, it's the trendsetter, it's wanting to break through that all-time high. Bitcoin dominance is rising, the ETFs are firing. So it makes a ton of sense for you to maintain as much as your portfolio in Bitcoin, but look for opportunities outside of it. And Bitcoin here, if this is going to drive through all-time high and start to skid up to high 70s, 80s, 90, 100,000 over the next few weeks and months, then you want to be paying attention to it. Absolutely. It's going to suck the oxygen out of altcoins. But when we get the break, and as that move goes higher, we'll likely see the altcoins just flood after it as the market realizes, all right, here we go, bull market engaged. Absolutely, here we go. US election there, it's still my red herring a little bit. It does look like Trump is going to get over the line there, but still, it's very hard to call line ball stuff, but the data is pointing one way. Guys, I'm also going to release a report soon on this, some of the scenarios at play, what I think is most likely and whatnot, but just to being a little bit risk averse as we move into the election, because I think it's going to be a volatile one. So I'm just throwing that out there. Now, with Bitcoin moving up, the altcoins are going to have a lot of energy and momentum underneath them. And we've been seeing that with a few. So what I'm going to do here, though, is just first of all, have a look at our cherry ripe from last week and just show you the sort of the response that we had with the cherry ripe that it was last week. So it was the 23rd of October through here on this candle here. Now, it was one of the few cryptos we had very high conviction on. Now, it was up 10%. So we're going to blow our own trumpet there. The reason why we said Solana was one of the very few charts that we were very, very bullish on is because of its relative strength. So if you're looking at the Sol BTC chart, it was beating Bitcoin. It had closed above the 200-day moving average against Bitcoin. It was beating ETH, and it was broadly just being much stronger than the rest of the market. It was holding position, and this was when it was much lower. It was at about 160, that kind of region. Now it's at 180, and she looks like she's about to blow the top. I've got an alert there to really get aggressive, 185 if it starts moving up into that region, because then we're getting into those low territories where it's just 200, 250, back to 200, up to 300, back to 350, up to 400. So that's the kind of situation that we're heading in. It's an incredibly exciting time, and we want to, well, hopefully you're all dialed in over this last 7.5 months and got your plans in place for potentially a really exciting next phase where you're going to make a ton of money in a very short amount of time. And again, I'll throw out there, if you want that one-on-one support, make sure to reach out to the team, because it's what we do exclusively with our masterminds. Okay, so Solana there, again, 10% up from last week. So the gains keep rolling in. I think this is going to continue. I'm literally going to show you a few charts today that I'm pretty bullish on, as well as, just one to watch. I don't think I'm going to have a specific one for each. And danger zones are actually reasonably hard to pick here, as in the whole market looks phenomenal. So Solana definitely up there. Another one that I had in my danger zone last week on the Wednesday, and it really came to fruition when we saw, when was it up here? Yeah, perfect. So again, wanted to just back test my analysis and show you guys, sort of what I was seeing and how it played out. So Sui, last ALTCOIN Bible, was my danger zone. And that was on, again, Wednesday the 23rd. So around about here on this key support level. Now, everything was looking weak. Momentum was rolling over. We saw massive bearish divergences. The price action was going higher while the momentum was actually moving lower. And it just didn't look good. It's kind of where you want to be managing risk or have a bias that this is looking weaker, it's probably going to drop lower and you can buy the dip. It absolutely did that. So if you were watching our videos and you managed that risk, I mean, you could have saved yourself 20%. That's a huge risk mitigation, and it's a huge capital saver if you know how to do it. So if you took at least some off the board, you can have orders set down lower and captured 164, these types of regions. SUI, alternatively, now on the flip side, looks utterly phenomenal. So again, we've been saying over the last few months, strength begets strength, momentum breeds momentum. This whole move up for SUI was just out of this world. And you reckon it's going to end? No, it's going to. This is the thing that breeds more and higher prices. Are these early movers that are showing such strength? You're kind of like, wow, but you're afraid to buy the dips on and you forget about it. You look at something else that's shiny, but you have to have an eye on what has been really successful, and that's been SUI. Had that beautiful pullback to that 160 level. Now it's closed above that horizontal where we managed risk before, and it's closed above that 20-day moving average up here. And this looks absolutely fire at the moment. Stoke RSI absolutely bottom, roaring up, on balance volume moving up. You've got the RSI breaking the downtrend as well. Done. Couldn't be more bullish on SUI right now. So that's a cherry I've ever seen one. Solana and SUI look fantastic. Now, again, looking at the pairs, Sol and SUI, we were really big on Sol, and I personally had a massive allocation in my personal portfolio. It was probably not my largest, but my second largest. I've been monitoring the Sol SUI chart, so you're going between the two. And when you start to see this kind of bottoming formation and a potential trend break here like this has here, I was very quick to catch it, because I'm moving between the two and I'm watching for one to bottom. And I want confirmation, of course, to break the downtrend, but one clearly had bottomed. You move from one to the other. Both are going to run, but one's going to run harder than the other, because SUI right now is moving against Solana. It's catching up. So Solana's obviously going to move up here, but again, SUI is going to outperform because it's a lower market cap. And that's kind of the moves. If you want to outperform, that's what you want to catch. You see the momentum's all bottom for SUI against Solana. So absolutely love it. Now, another crypto, which we've mentioned a few times of late, is Aptos. So another layer one. This is a phenomenal looking setup. But I think it is worthy of one to watch status, because it hasn't really broken up as yet. It's created the conditions for a beautiful bottom here. Now, again, the RSI hasn't moved up through there, but the Stochastic RSI's bottom, it's crossover, on balance volumes moving up. Just here, the price action looks incredible in the sense that it tried to move higher through here, wicked into that, had a really big pullback there, but it's recovered just like SUI, and it came into this huge volume pocket, almost the lid of this entire bowl. So that looks really delicious to me, to move to, upwards of, let's say, next level's 13, and then probably 16, 17 region. But that's the kind of look that you want in a chart. Higher highs, higher lows. This is pretty much hidden bullish divergences where you're seeing momentum essentially reset, but price is just maintaining a higher low, high look to it. It's really phenomenal. Now, another chart that I think looks absolutely phenomenal is WIF. And you've got WIF here that's had a sort of a similar setup to Aptos, that it had the breakout up here, got a little bit overheated, bearish divergences, had the pullback back to the horizontal on the breakout, and now she really looks like she wants to pop up through there. And this definitely looks like a beautiful, bottom, sort of the run up, back into the 10 EMA, back down to the same level, then up. So really, really like that as well. Now, for a danger zone, I want to just kind of find something rather amusing. I think everything's going to move in this market, but XRP is hilarious to me. It just hasn't really moved at all. It says these big swings, and I love to use them in my punching bag. You got 70% up, 70% down, 70% up, 70% down, that kind of region. Now, what is XRP doing? Well, it's actually running right back into resistance here. RSI doesn't look too flash here. Fully expect XRP to pump at some point, really big, but this is just chop city. It is a horrible coin, to be owning right now. This is that chop. Really want to be watching for strength against other coins. But if you're holding XRP against, say, Bitcoin, you are losing, Bitcoin gains all the time. You're losing value. So it's something I want to put out there to everyone as well. And I believe Joe is going to put together a video on pairs. I also dropped a video on pair charting real quick that I made for a mastermind client, because sometimes you need refreshers, and you've seen something done once making custom charts and comparing, let's say, Sol to Sui. But then you kind of forget about it, and you need to have a bit of a refresh on how does this work again? What crypto am I looking at, seeing the strength of, that kind of thinking. So it's good to just have that refresh. I know Joe's big on this, we're big on this, and it's how you can make serious money if the market is if there's only a few real clear winners, and you're looking where you can find the edge in the market. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this altcoin Bible. Have a great day. Leave me comments and feedback below. Let's get after it. This is an exciting time. So see ya. Bye-bye.